Lesson 5.3c part 2, we're going to write specific equations, or as specific as we can get based on the information we see for each of these functions. So let's start with number 1. We know, first of all, that it ends down, so that the leading coefficient has to be a negative number. We don't know what that negative number is. I'm going to call it negative 2. I have no idea. We also know that it is a quartic function because there are 4 x-intercepts. One here, one there, one there, one there. So it's an x to the 4th function. We don't know anything else. We don't know the value of b, we don't know the value of c, we don't know the value of d, but we do know the y-intercept is positive 1, 2, 3. Positive 3. And that's all you know. So this number is definitely a 4, that's definitely a 3, this is definitely a negative number. No, it could be negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 1.7. We don't know exactly what this is. There's not enough information to figure it out. But just the fact that you know it's going to be a negative something because it points down, that's good enough for us. Next example. It is a cubic function based on its shape and the fact that it has 1, 2, 3 x-intercepts. Why? So we know it's cubic. We know the leading coefficient is positive something. So pick a positive number, your favorite number. As long as it's positive, we're good. We don't know the value of b. We don't know the value of c. But we do know that the value of d, or the y-intercept in this case, is negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Negative 6. There you go. These next 2 examples are completely different. This time we know exactly what the x-intercepts are. When you know exactly what the x-intercepts are, we want you to write it in factored form. 1, 2, 3 x-intercepts, and it's cubic, so you need 3 factors. 1, 2, 3. Let's start with this one and then work our way left to right, just like you would read. That is negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5 is the root, so the factor must be x plus 5. Remember, whatever this number is, when you plug it in for the x value, it should make the factor equal 0. That's why it's called a 0 sometimes. This is a negative 1, so the next factor is x plus 1. And then that is a positive 2, so this factor must be x minus 2. Again, if x is 2, you plug that in right there for the x. You'd get 2 minus 2, which equals 0. You want it to equal 0. Probably the most important number in math. And what else? Leading coefficient is positive. So we know it's going to end up, pick whatever number you want, as long as it's positive. I'm going to go 1.2. We don't know for sure. There's no way you could possibly know unless you have more information. Let's see. This one has 1, 2, 3 turns. It clearly looks quartic because it is quartic. And 1, 2, 3, 4 x-intercepts, we know exactly where they are, so you're going to write it in factored form. Oops. Leading coefficient is positive, so pick a positive number, 2.4, whatever, and then that is negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. X is negative 4, so the first factor is x plus 4, that's x plus 2, x minus 2, my bad, and then that's positive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this must be x minus 5. There you go. And one more thing. This always seems to throw students off. Sometimes you shouldn't count the number of x-intercepts. Like this. There's only one x-intercept. That's not what you want to count. You want to count the turns. There are 2 turns, which means it's cubic. And the shape is cubic. So you want to remember from lesson 5.3a, the general shape of functions. If it looks cubic, it's cubic. Leading coefficient is positive. So pick a positive number, doesn't matter, as long as it's positive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We don't know the value of b, we don't know the value of c. We do know the y-intercept is positive 5. One more example. Again, the purpose of this example is to show you don't necessarily count the actual x-intercepts. That's not always going to give you the correct information. There. So, based on not the number of x-intercepts, but the number of turns, 1, 2, 3 turns, because there are 3 turns, it must be a quartic function. The leading coefficient is negative, so pick a negative number. And then it has a positive 5 again, sorry about that, for its y-intercept. Bx cubed plus cx squared plus dx plus 5. One thing I probably should have mentioned in the very first lesson is the exponents go in decreasing order, 4, 3, 2, 1, nothing. I think I did mention that, but I didn't mention the letters. This is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so forth. It's just standard notation when you're writing a generic polynomial function. And you should be ready to work on assignment 5.3c. Good luck.